Hey everyone, and welcome! It's me, your friendly neighborhood film enthusiast, and oh boy, have I got a treat for you today. For 3 decades, the legendary Gene Siskel championed some of the greatest films ever made. He watched, he analyzed, he just loved movies. And today we're doing something super special. We're counting down Gene Siskel's 25 greatest movies of all time. These are the films he gushed about the most, the ones that made his best of the year lists, and his personal, cherished favorites. Are you ready? I know I am. Let's kick things off with number 25. Dumbo. What a way to start. This Walt Disney classic, all about a little circus elephant with enormous ears, was Gene Siskel's absolute favorite from his childhood. Can you just imagine? Little Gene, eyes wide, watching Dumbo overcome all that teasing and learn to fly just by believing in himself and a little magic feather. It's such a touching story, and that lullaby, Baby Mine, it still gets me every time. Dumbo was a hit, even won an Oscar for its score. But more importantly, for Siskel, it was the movie that sparked his lifelong love of cinema. He often said, and I quote, "Dumbo opened my eyes to the power of movies." See, it really left an impression on him, this enduring message about embracing what makes you different. It just goes to show, sometimes the biggest lessons come from the smallest, most adorable elephants.
From a flying elephant to a political thriller that kicked off Siskel's career as a critic. Coming in at number 24 is Costa Gavras' Z. This was the very first film he ever ranked as the year's best, and wow, did it make an impact. This French-Algerian thriller, based on real events in Greece, is a bold expose of corruption and the fight for justice. It follows an investigator digging into the assassination of an opposition leader, all while the government is trying to cover it up.
And now for a film that's a love letter to filmmaking itself. At number 23, it's François Truffaut's charming French film, Day for Night. This was Siskel's top pick of 1974, and you can see why. It follows a director and his crew as they try, sometimes hilariously, sometimes dramatically, to complete a film amidst all sorts of on-set chaos and personal dramas. The title itself refers to this cool technique of filming night scenes during the day using a filter, a little insider lingo that perfectly captures the movie's affectionate, behind-the-curtains look at cinema. Critics and cinephiles absolutely adored it. It even won the Best Foreign Language Film Oscar. Siskel praised its playful yet realistic portrayal of the controlled chaos of shooting a movie. He noted how Truffaut perfectly captured that circus-like camaraderie and even the heartbreak that happens on set. There's a great line in it where a character jokes, "I'd drop the film if I knew what it was about." A perfect little wink at the unpredictable art of creation, don't you think?
Now, Gene Siskel had this incredible knack for spotting underrated gems, and coming in at number 22, Straight Time is absolutely one of them. This 1978 crime drama, starring the incredible Dustin Hoffman as an ex-con trying to go straight, was Siskel's pick for the best film of 1978, even though, for many, it flew completely under the radar. The story follows Max Dembo, who's just struggling with a parole system that seems designed to pull him right back into Los Angeles' criminal underworld. Supported by a truly stellar cast, Hoffman gives this brilliant, dexterous performance. Siskel's endorsement really helped Straight Time gain this belated recognition as a 70s classic. He admitted, "It's one of the only movies in memory where I was rooting for the criminal." He just loved its gritty realism and that fantastic moral complexity. It wasn't a box office hit, no, but it has since earned its place as a forgotten masterpiece. And that, my friends, is the power of a great critic's eye.
Okay, now this one might make you raise an eyebrow. In a list full of heavy hitters, coming in at number 21 is George Miller's Babe, Pig in the City. Yes, the talking pig movie. Gene Siskel passionately defended this whimsical family film, calling it inventive, creative, clever, and great-looking, even naming it his #1 movie of 1998. This is the sequel, mind you, that sends our plucky pig Babe into a surreal urban adventure to save his farm. Siskel insisted the choice is not a stunt. He genuinely felt this sequel qualified for greatness because it expands our notion of what a film can be. And honestly, the movie's imaginative visuals and surprisingly dark, poignant moments did earn it critical appreciation from some. But let's be real, it was a gigantic box office flop, earned only about $20 million against a $60+ million budget. Siskel didn't care one bit. He absolutely reveled in championing an underdog, praising George Miller's visionary use of cinematography and special effects to create what he called a modern fairy tale. You gotta love him for it.
All right, buckle up for number 20. In 1976, Siskel's top film of the year was this incredibly tense newsroom thriller, All the President's Men. It's a reenactment of the Watergate investigation, starring Robert Redford and Dustin Hoffman as Washington Post reporters, Bob Woodward and Carl Bernstein, just doggedly uncovering the truth behind the Watergate break-in and the Nixon administration's cover-up. The film captures the meticulous, often tedious work of journalism and turns it into gripping drama. It was a massive commercial and critical success, grossing over $70 million and snagging 4 Oscars. Siskel praised All the President's Men for its edge-of-your-seat authenticity, noting how it made telephone calls and library research feel as thrilling as a car chase. He also admired the film's impact, saying it inspired countless young people to pursue reporting. Talk about a powerful film.
Another Siskel favorite that he helped thrust into the spotlight, coming in at number 19, is One False Move, a 1992 neon-noir crime thriller that Siskel named the best film of that year. Co-written by and co-starring a then-unknown Billy Bob Thornton, this indie film follows a trio of criminals on the run after a drug deal massacre in Los Angeles and an Arkansas small-town sheriff determined to catch them. The suspense builds not through big shootouts, but through character development and moral tension as destinies collide in a rural town. One False Move never had a wide theatrical release, but Siskel's early rave review really alerted audiences to its quality. He praised the screenplay for its authentic Southern atmosphere and unexpected emotional depth, especially in Cinda Williams' performance as Fantasia. Though largely overlooked by the Oscars, the movie won several critics' awards and today is considered a classic of 1990s noir. Siskel often cited One False Move as proof that great film can come from anywhere, not just big studios, a true champion of indie cinema.
Gene Siskel had a profound appreciation for documentaries, and in 1991, he surprised many by naming this documentary the year's best film. At number 18, it's Hearts of Darkness, A Filmmaker's Apocalypse. This is an incredible inside look at the tumultuous production of Francis Ford Coppola's Apocalypse Now. Using behind-the-scenes footage shot by Eleanor Coppola and new interviews, it reveals the near-disaster chaos. A typhoon wrecking sets, Martin Sheen's heart attack, Marlon Brando's creative eccentricities that somehow resulted in a masterpiece. Siskel called Hearts of Darkness a mesmerizing portrait of genius on the brink. He was absolutely riveted by how this documentary shows the thin line between visionary ambition and pure madness. The documentary itself earned critical acclaim, winning awards and several Emmy Awards after airing on cable. While not a box office film per se, it became absolutely essential viewing for cinephiles. It really pulls back the curtain on the incredible, sometimes terrifying process of creation. Switching gears a bit, at number 17, we have Siskel's favorite film of 1986, Woody Allen's elegant ensemble dramedy, Hannah and Her Sisters. This film beautifully interweaves the lives of 3 sisters and their extended family over 2 eventful years in New York City. It touches on love, infidelity, artistic angst, and even a comic brush with existential crisis. Siskel really admired the film's witty script and warm performances, calling it Allen's most mature and satisfying comedy, and audiences and critics agreed. It was Allen's biggest box office success at the time, and won 3 Academy Awards. Siskel particularly loved how the story balances humor and poignancy, with moments like Woody Allen's character rediscovering joy while watching the Marx Brothers. It's just lovely. Epic in scope and utterly sumptuous in design, Bernardo Bertolucci's The Last Emperor impressed Siskel so much that he chose it as the finest film of 1987. And it truly is a masterpiece. This sweeping biographical drama chronicles the life of Puyi, who became emperor of China as a toddler and witnessed the tumultuous upheavals of the 20th century, from the forbidden grandeur of the imperial palace to war, captivity, and eventual obscurity.
Filmed largely on location in Beijing's Forbidden City, The Last Emperor is an absolute visual feast. It garnered unanimous critical acclaim and made Oscar history by winning all 9 of the Academy Awards for which it was nominated, including Best Picture. Siskel praised the film's ambitious narrative and Bertolucci's storytelling. He said, "It's not only a history lesson, it's emotionally engaging. We empathize with a ruler who had no control over his fate." The film's haunting score and cinematography also earned special mention. Though it had a modest U.S. box office, its accolades cemented its legacy. All right, who's ready for some neurotic charm and revolutionary romance? At number 15, we have Woody Allen's witty and innovative romantic comedy, Annie Hall. In 1977, Gene Siskel found himself utterly charmed by it, ranking it as his #1 film of the year, preferring it even over the era's blockbuster spectacles. Annie Hall follows the neurotic New York comedian Alvy Singer and his free-spirited girlfriend Annie Hall through the laughs and heartbreak of a modern relationship. What really set this film apart was its playful breaking of the fourth wall and its poignant observations on love and life. Siskel lauded the film's originality, from subtitled inner thoughts in a date scene to animated asides, and its genuine emotional core. The movie swept the major awards, winning 4 Oscars, including Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Actress. It was also a box office hit, proving that smart comedies for adults could draw big crowds. Siskel often cited Annie Hall's massive influence on the romantic comedy genre and Allen's career. It's just a classic.
Now, for a film that caused quite a stir, at number 14 we have Martin Scorsese's most controversial film, The Last Temptation of Christ, which was also Siskel's top choice of 1988. This film dares to portray Jesus in a profoundly human light, exploring his doubts, temptations, and ultimate spiritual triumph. Siskel and Ebert both gave the film an impassioned defense amid a firestorm of protests from some religious groups in 1988. Siskel wrote that Willem Dafoe, as Jesus, manages to draw out the humanity in Christ without denying the divinity, praising Scorsese's respectful yet daring approach. The film's release was met with picket lines and even bans in certain countries. But Siskel argued that The Last Temptation was a towering achievement of personal film, one that took the essence of faith seriously. Though it received only a single Oscar nomination, its legacy endures as a truly bold piece of art. It's a film that asks profound questions and isn't afraid to explore them.
Get ready for some true American heroism. At number 13, we have Philip Kaufman's The Right Stuff, which Siskel honored as the best film of 1983. This grand American epic chronicles the post-war U.S. space program, from Chuck Yeager breaking the sound barrier to the Mercury 7 astronauts orbiting Earth. Running over 3 hours, the film artfully blends history, heroism, and a surprising amount of humor. Siskel was thrilled by how The Right Stuff captured the spirit of adventure. He famously said on At the Movies, "It's about daring to dream and risking everything to reach the stars." Despite rapturous reviews, the film actually underperformed at the box office in 1983, which is a shame. But it did win 4 Academy Awards and a Best Picture nomination. Siskel particularly praised the ensemble cast and the film's mixture of awe-inspiring flight scenes with these down-to-earth, sometimes comedic portraits of the astronauts' personalities. It's a film that truly makes you look up at the sky and dream.
Oh, this next one. At number 12, Sergio Leone's epic crime saga of friendship, betrayal, and the passage of time, Once Upon a Time in America, left a deep impression on Gene Siskel. He selected it as 1984's best film, though American audiences initially didn't get to see its true greatness. This film spans several decades in the lives of Jewish gangsters in New York, particularly focusing on Noodles and Max. With its nonlinear narrative and operatic 4-hour runtime, the film is a richly textured meditation on memory and regret. Siskel held it as Leone's masterpiece, a film of extraordinary ambition and emotion. However, when it was first released in the US, the studio brutally chopped it down to a confusing 2-hour version, and it flopped at the box office. Siskel literally implored viewers to seek out the full cut, so convinced was he of its brilliance. Over time, the uncut Once Upon a Time in America gained recognition as a classic, validating Siskel's early championing. Ennio Morricone's haunting score and Tonino Delli-Colli's cinematography just add to the film's dreamlike, unforgettable quality.
You betcha. At number 11, in 1996, both Siskel and Ebert fell in love with Joel and Ethan Coen's quirky crime thriller, Fargo, and Gene Siskel named it the best film of that year. Set in the snow-covered upper Midwest, Fargo spins a darkly comic tale of a kidnapping scheme gone terribly wrong and the earnest, pregnant police chief, Marge Gunderson, who unravels it all. Siskel praised Fargo's blend of suspense, humor, and that fantastic local color. From the notorious wood chipper scene to those Minnesota nice accents that mask dark deeds, he just loved it. He also lauded Frances McDormand's Oscar-winning performance, calling Marge one of the most original and endearing heroes in years. Fargo was a moderate box office success and garnered 7 Oscar nominations. Beyond the awards, Siskel really appreciated the Coen brothers' sharp writing and Roger Deakins' cinematography, which turned those barren winter landscapes into something strangely beautiful and menacing. It's a truly unique film experience.
Kicking off our top 10, it's Robert Altman's Nashville, a panoramic tapestry of American life and culture in the 1970s, and Gene Siskel absolutely adored it. He named Nashville the best film of 1975, and it's often cited as one of his enduring favorites. With 24 characters and multiple intersecting storylines set against the backdrop of a country music festival and a political campaign in Nashville, Tennessee, the film is just so ambitious and richly layered. Siskel marveled at Altman's skill in juggling comedy, satire, and poignant drama. He said, "It feels like you've watched a whole nation in microcosm." Highlights include these incredibly memorable songs performed live by the cast and moments of pure Americana, both absurd and deeply moving. Nashville received 5 Academy Award nominations and was a moderate box office hit. Siskel hailed Nashville's climactic scene, a show-stopping finale at the Parthenon, as the most astonishing mix of heartbreak and hope he'd seen on screen. It really is a cinematic event.
Prepare to be moved. At number 9, we have Hoop Dreams, this groundbreaking 1994 documentary that was so powerful. Gene Siskel not only declared it the best film of that year, he became one of its most vocal advocates. Hoop Dreams follows 2 Chicago teenagers, William Gates and Archer Agee, over 5 years as they pursue their dream of becoming professional basketball players. But it's about far more than sports. It captures the boys' struggles with academics, family finances, injuries, and the harsh realities of race and opportunity in America. Siskel was a huge fan, calling it extraordinary, and highlighting how it made viewers care deeply about the real lives unfolding on screen. Despite running nearly 3 hours, the documentary has the narrative pull of a great novel. Siskel noted in his review, "We don't think about the score, we think about what it means to them, not us, if they hit or miss." Hoop Dreams won the Audience Award at Sundance and became one of the most acclaimed documentaries ever. Yet it was infamously snubbed by the Oscars documentary branch. It did receive 1 Oscar nomination for film editing, but many, including Siskel, felt it deserved Best Picture consideration. It's a film that stays with you. Few films left Gene Siskel as struck as Claude Lanzmann's monumental 9.5-hour documentary about the Holocaust, Shoah. At number 8, Siskel named Shoah the best film of 1985 and later ranked it among the greatest cinematic achievements of all time. Through exhaustive interviews with survivors, witnesses, and even former Nazis, Shoah painstakingly reconstructs the process of genocide, making the past feel devastatingly present. Siskel was profoundly moved. He famously stated, "Shoah is the greatest use of film I have ever seen." Such praise was not given lightly. Roger Ebert echoed that sentiment, and both critics urged viewers to experience Shoah despite its length and harrowing content. Siskel and Ebert even devoted special coverage to Shoah on their TV show, breaking their format to discuss its importance. While Shoah was never a commercial film, its impact on documentary filmmaking and Holocaust education is simply incalculable. It's a testament to the power of cinema as historical record and human testimony. All right, prepare for some real mob magic. At number 7, we have Martin Scorsese's propulsive gangster saga, Goodfellas. This was Gene Siskel's choice for the best film of 1990, and it absolutely remains one of the most acclaimed films in modern cinema. Goodfellas is the true crime tale of mob associate Henry Hill and his life in the New York Mafia, a high-energy journey through 25 years of organized crime told with this audacious style. From its legendary Copacabana one-shot entrance to the frenetic last day as a wise guy sequence, Goodfellas truly reinvented the gangster genre. Siskel praised the film's relentless pacing, its dark humor, and its unglamorous honesty. He said it's the gangster film to end all gangster films, noting how Scorsese pulls viewers into the mob lifestyle and then stunningly shows its consequences. Joe Pesci's performance as the volatile Tommy DeVito particularly impressed Siskel. Pesci even won an Oscar for the role. The film garnered 6 Academy Award nominations, including Best Picture, though it famously lost that prize in a controversial upset to Dances with Wolves. But let's be real, Goodfellas is a masterpiece.
At number 6, we have a film that is as vibrant as it is incendiary. Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing. This was Siskel's #1 film of 1989, and it has only grown in stature since. Do the Right Thing unfolds on the hottest day of the year in a Brooklyn neighborhood where small conflicts and prejudices simmer among the diverse residents until they erupt into an unforgettable climax. Siskel championed this film from day one, praising Spike Lee's bold direction and writing. He noted how the film uses warm humor and colorful style to draw us in with memorable characters like Radio Raheem blasting Fight the Power and Mookie delivering pizzas, and then it confronts us with hard questions about race, justice, and community. Siskel was also incredibly vocal in criticizing the Academy for overlooking Do the Right Thing in the Best Picture category. He and Ebert famously condemned that year's Oscar winner as safe and out of touch by comparison. Do the Right Thing was a modest commercial success and is now preserved in the National Film Registry. It's a film that still sparks vital conversations.
All right, prepare for some Cold War satire at its absolute finest. At number 5, it's Stanley Kubrick's Dr. Strangelove. As Gene Siskel himself put it, this was another all-time favorite of his. Though released before Siskel began his career, Dr. Strangelove was a film he frequently cited as one of the greats. It's a biting black comedy in which a U.S. Air Force general goes insane and launches a nuclear attack on the USSR, setting the stage for a cascade of absurd attempts to avert doomsday. Peter Sellers famously plays 3 different roles, showcasing the kind of sharp wit and daring that Siskel loved. The film received 4 Oscar nominations and has countless iconic moments, from Major Kong riding a bomb like a rodeo cowboy to Strangelove's final line, "Mein Führer, I can walk." Siskel appreciated how Dr. Strangelove turned the gravest of subjects, nuclear annihilation, into scathing humor that made its point with lasting impact. It's a film that proves sometimes the best way to deal with the terrifying is to laugh at it.
Often hailed as one of the greatest films ever made, at number 4, Martin Scorsese's Raging Bull earned Gene Siskel's top spot for 1980, and in his view, it was the pinnacle of 1980s cinema. This unflinching biographical drama stars Robert De Niro as Jake LaMotta, a 1940s middleweight boxing champion whose violent temper and jealousy destroy his relationships. Filmed in stark black and white, Raging Bull is as much about the battle within the man as the brutal bounce in the ring. Siskel praised De Niro's transformative performance. Famously, the actor gained about 60 pounds to play the older LaMotta, calling it stunning, one of the most committed performances put on film. The boxing scenes are brutal yet artful, with Scorsese's direction turning each fight into an expression of Jake's inner demons. Raging Bull was nominated for 8 Oscars and won 2. Though it didn't win Best Picture, its reputation has only grown. Siskel often reflected on Raging Bull's incredible craft, from the innovative slow-motion blood spray in the ring to the poignant final scene quoting On the Waterfront. It's pure cinematic power.
As we reach our top 3, it arrives at a film that, for many, is an experience more than just a movie. At number 3, it's Steven Spielberg's Schindler's List. When it was released in 1993, Gene Siskel, like most critics, was overwhelmed by its power. He named it the best film of 1993, and even years later, he spoke of its impact with reverence. The film tells the true story of Oskar Schindler, a German businessman who saved the lives of over 1,000 Polish Jews during the Holocaust by employing them in his factory. Filmed primarily in haunting black and white, Schindler's List is both an unflinching depiction of the Holocaust's horrors and a moving tale of redemption and humanity.
Siskel commended Spielberg for handling the subject matter with such depth and respect, saying it's a film that leaves you shaken and changed. He also highlighted Ralph Fiennes' chilling performance as the Nazi commandant Amon Goeth and Ben Kingsley's quiet dignity as Schindler's Jewish accountant Itzhak Stern. The film was a worldwide box office success and went on to win 7 Academy Awards, including Best Picture and Best Director. Siskel and Ebert both famously admitted on air to being in tears by the end of the film. It's a film that demands to be seen and remembered.
All right, this is where it gets interesting. At number 2, we have an absolute titan of cinema, Francis Ford Coppola's The Godfather, 1972. This film, well, it's pretty much a cinematic Bible for many. Siskel revered it for its masterful storytelling, its incredible performances, and its deep exploration of family, loyalty, and power. It's not just a gangster film, it's a Shakespearean tragedy played out with cannolis and consequences. And a little bonus for you, something a bit different. While not a film on his list, if Gene Siskel were here today, I have a strong feeling he would be absolutely obsessed with the HBO series Succession. Wittier, sharp dialogue, it has all the hallmarks of the kind of complex, character-driven drama that Siskel adored in films like The Godfather. He would be dissecting every episode, every subtle glance, every betraying word. So while it's not on his official film list, consider it an honorary "what if he were still here" entry. Just a little something to ponder. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, at the very, very top of Gene Siskel's list, sitting proudly at number 1, is a film that might just surprise some of you. But anyone who truly knew Siskel knows exactly why it's here. It is, drumroll please, Saturday Night Fever. Yes, the disco movie starring John Travolta was Gene Siskel's favorite film of all time. This 1977 drama follows Tony Manero, a Brooklyn kid by day and the undisputed king of the dance floor by night, as he tries to escape his dead-end life through competitive disco dancing. But beyond the iconic Bee Gees soundtrack and those flashy dance moves, Saturday Night Fever offered this sharp, incisive social commentary on class, ethnicity, and ambition in 1970s New York. Siskel recognized this depth when many dismissed the film as just a mere fad. He admired Travolta's charismatic, layered performance, that vulnerability beneath the bravado, and the film's unflinching look at its character's struggles. Saturday Night Fever was a cultural sensation, responsible for a worldwide disco craze, and it became one of the highest-grossing R-rated films of its time. It also earned Travolta an Oscar nomination and cemented him as a true star. For Gene Siskel, the connection was deeply, intensely personal. He famously loved the film so much, he actually bought the white suit Travolta wears in the finale at a charity auction. He once said, "The movie makes good movie-making seem easy." He praised director John Badham's brisk storytelling and the absolute honesty of the script. So, there you have it. Not just a disco movie, but a gritty, honest, and ultimately hopeful story about a young man dreaming of something more. And for Gene Siskel, that made it the greatest film of all time.
And that, my friends, brings us to the end of our countdown of Gene Siskel's 25 greatest movies of all time. What an incredible journey through cinematic history, guided by the passionate eye of a true film lover. I hope you enjoyed this peek into his favorites and maybe even found a new film or two to add to your own watch list. What surprised you most on this list? Or did any of his top picks match your own? Let me know.